Hey everyone, and welcome to Tootie Talk Sense, and I am Tootie. So let me get right into this story because these YouTube streets seems like they on fire. I'm like, what is going on now? So it's pretty much right. First of all, this information that I'm finna talk about, that I'm finna give commentary about, is information that's on other people's platform, and it's sensitive in nature because it regards a teenager saying that Larry Reid um, touched him inappropriately. So it's pretty much, look, the way I look at it, right? It's like Tasha K, the Bishop Whitehead, against Larry Reid and Conscious TV. So it's called CTV. Now, let me tell you my background. I just was a subscriber of Tasha K, and that was through her when I was watching her YouTube. She introduced Larry Reid. So then I started subscribing to Larry Reid. And then he introduced Storm Monroe. Now, Tasha K done been into it with everybody. So at one point she was into it with Armand Wiggins. So Larry Reid tried to intervene and get those two to talk and try to squash out their difference. End up Tasha, now I don't know why, what happened with the Tasha and Larry Reid, they fell out. So during this Bishop Whitehead thing, when Bishop Whitehead, went in on Larry Reid, that's when he was calling the girl that he was on the interview with, calling her fat this and biggest smalls and things of that nature. He was on there with Larry Reid, but he didn't bring the same energy to Larry Reid because usually that's how insecure men do. But so that went viral, with the Larry Reid and the Bishop Whitehead, that went viral. So then from there, Bishop Whitehead ended up being on Tasha K's show. So seems like Tasha K was then siding with Bishop Whitehead, saying things of the, insinuating that, there's going to be some either charges or lawsuits going on with Larry Reid against these victims that, alleged things that he did things to them when they were teenagers, I guess 14, 15-year-old. So I'm like, that look mighty odd. Man, you in between the time she done fell out with Larry Reid. She also done fell out with Storm Monroe. Now y'all go look up these people. I think Storm was doing it before Tasha. Before he connected with Tasha. He had his own platform, but Tasha brought him in. He moved out to Atlanta. End up, she had him on her show a couple of times. His audience grew. One of her assistant, Chelsea, she had a guest. She interviewed a guest, a guy from some reality TV show, y'all, that she interviewed. Chelsea is her assistant or whatever's her official title. Chelsea and this guest started dating each other. And the guest ended up, what is his name? Van Ray, or something like that. The guest ended up needing a place to stay. He ended up staying with Storm. Chelsea and the guest broke up. That was a whole nother big YouTube thing. So when it first came out, now ConsiouzTv ended up trying to intervene in that situation. So I'm like, this was like history repeating itself. Because when Larry Reid tried to intervene with her, Wiggins, then she stopped being, cool with Larry Reid, and you would hear her saying some things that was just like, oh, he's homosexual, or he's play for the other team. Oh, he didn't suck this and that. He didn't have this and that in his mouth. And if you watch Larry Reid, he talks about what happens as a kid, and he put all the stuff out there. But the way she was saying it, as if she knew some inside information, and this is, something that he does on the regular. So, and talk about, she called it PPP, prophets, preachers, and pedo, is what she's been hinting around that she's finna start doing it. So she done finally dropped it, y'all, which is this lady's video. She done dropped with one of Larry Reid's, who he said alleges is a victim. Now, she's saying allegedly she got 4 more. So, but you got to subscribe to her channel and all this. And so far, I haven't did it. I used to be a subscriber to her and to Larry Reid. I ain't gonna lie. To his Patreon and when she had Patreon. Now she got her own channel. Larry Reid still got his Patreon. You used to subscribe to both? Nah, I don't. And money is funny, so I just, what you drop on YouTube, that's what I watch. Keep in mind, this commentary is going to be taken from the stuff that I seen on YouTube. They get supposed to have receipts and go more in details on their own separate channels that you have to pay a monthly fee for, which I haven't done. So, so she ended up calling. So back to so when her and Storm got into it, Storm Monroe got into it with Tasha K over that Chelsea and Van Ryn's situation. Then they have went on ConsiouzTv. ConsiouzTv, I want to say Storm was on there. Then Tasha ended up coming in. It was something that Storm said on there where he said something. Yeah, I did it, and I did it for the views. I was like, I don't really know about Storm like that. If you do it for the views, you'll do anything. So that's why I can't tell you too much what's been going on Storm page because I stopped following him. But recently he been on ConsiouzTv and he explained what he meant, and I'm like, okay. That does make sense. It was like, okay, she was talking about it on her page for the views, so he's gonna talk about it on his page. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. They got nothing to do with nothing. But I'm just telling you the history. The history has been complicated and it has been a lot. And I have not dug into all the history of it. That's just the stuff that I remember. So on ConsiouzTv, they chose not to they didn't end up working it out. Storm Monroe have still been on ConsiouzTv. After that, came back, did an interview. Tasha refused to go on. Storm, from what he said, still been growing his channel. He's still been doing well without Tasha K. And it seems like him and ConsiouzTv has a good relationship. And I don't think Tasha now has a good relationship with ConsiouzTv. So now that's why the title is going to be Tasha K and Bishop Whitehead, because she didn't took. So like that's who that she didn't have. And Larry Reid said they got some other pastors. Because Larry Reid started off his commentary, as far as what he said. He started off his commentaries, talking about pastors and things that was going bad in the church. Because he's been in church all his life. I guess he's very popular in the secular community. And, he's a songwriter, singer. So he's very well known. So he started off doing these stories, these commentaries, and I don't think he was like breaking news, but he would commentate on something that got out. And so the pastors, he got a couple of pastors and everything that don't like him for it. So so he said it's Tasha K, Bishop Whitehead, and like a couple of pastors who's behind the scene financing them to go take these trips and stuff to interview these people and try to put it on the internet to try to get, a bad bandwagon of people against him. So that's why the title is going to be Tasha K and Bishop Whitehead versus Larry Reid and ConsiouzTv. Because if you look right now, and it's it's like 11:30 something, and this is Tuesday, January 17th. If you look at what's popping up right now, it's just Tasha K's story, Larry Reid response, and ConsiouzTv got a 3-hour live that he did. And baby, I can't go through it 3 hours. Because ConsiouzTv, to me, ConsiouzTv does have a I keep saying yeah. ConsiouzTv does have a way that he delivers stories that to me is biased, but I'm not a constant subscriber. Like I subscribe to ConsiouzTv, but I don't consistently watch his videos. But anyway, that's who ConsiouzTv is. So Tasha K now calls ConsiouzTv the boyfriend with the wig that he pays cars for, that his wig is barely hanging on, pent to one side, that he keep getting male fluid on it, that he just wash it off and put it back on. That's how Tasha K describes ConsiouzTv. Now, ConsiouzTv calls her Drunken K, I want to say. He got a couple of nicknames for her too. So that's what makes me like those two don't get along after whatever happened with the Storm Monroe thing. And they was on his platform. So after that, don't know what happened, but don't seem like them two is getting along. Like I said, history repeats itself. Whatever happened with Amon Wiggins, Larry Reid, and he tried to intervene, didn't work. Tasha now getting along with Larry Reid. Don't know who right. That's just the way I see it. That's the way it looks to me. Now, okay. Now I'm just read from my notes, y'all. And so again, let me go back and calm down. I'm speeding along, y'all, because y'all know I be doing this on my doggone lunch. I be trying to come in here and drop it real quick and then edit it later on. And my edit don't be nothing. Be a little a clip here or whatever when I'm starting adjusting the camera. And then I don't really edit. Put that subscribe here, like, comment, subscribe, because I don't say it through the video enough. And I need to start. But that's why I am rushing when I'm talking. So let me slow it down a little bit. So I have watched Tasha K have done an interview. I want to say the name is Levante. This is one of Larry Reid alleged victims that said that he I had wrote down the title, y'all. I'll probably end up getting to the title because the title is so graphic that I was just like, right away it reminded me of some survivor Michael Jackson. It was like a teenage boy says that he at I want to say 15 um released in Larry Reid mouth. I was like, wait, you two, they be striking me for some nonsense. Y'all just let this be a title. I need to learn how to phrase stuff right because ain't no way. So Tasha K put out her video, and then Larry Reid put out his video. Now Tasha K video, it's the interview of the guy, but the first part of the video is like her talking. I don't know if she did commentary about something else, but it's the first part of it is her talking. Then it's the interview of the guy, but the interview is so chopped up because she says the full interview is on her website, Tasha K Live. She wants you to go there. She wants you to subscribe. And I'm assuming that, I don't know if the other four, alleged victims their interview is already up there, or I don't know if it's to come. And she says she has receipts. But I heard Tasha K say she has receipts, and it's usually just somebody talking. What to me is not receipts. Receipts is screenshots. Receipts is, you know what I'm saying? The Tory Lane shooting himself in the foot, the apology phone call. That's receipts. Now she says she has this stuff. I haven't been on her site yet. I don't know. If I go on there, I'll come back. But from the title alone, I said it reminds me of Survivor Netherlands. The title is just so graphic, like the graphic man in the documentary. Then finds out in the Survivor Neverland documentary, there's one guy there who was just so graphic about the things that happened. I was just like, what in the Jesus Christ? it was a lot. And then we would blow in each other. It was a lot. And so the title just by itself reminded me of that part. And I'm just like, wow, okay, that's a lot. But then that man that was in Survivor Neverland, it finds out that parts he was talking about in Neverland was never built at the time. The man said all these acts took place. Now, so the man in Neverland, when he was talking about all these graphic acts that took place, he was saying what room and things that they happen in, what location they happen in. Come and find out when he said that this stuff happened, those parts of Neverland wasn't even built. So, so now the acts that the accuser is saying he met Larry Reid at this time and place, which Larry Reid is saying he changed the age. So Larry Reid is saying when he first came out, I think he was saying 14. And then once Larry Reid was like, no, that's not true. And he had people to say, no, that's not true because this wasn't going on, and had proof that he did not know that boy at 14-year-old, but that man, but when he was 14, he didn't know him. So then he said he didn't know him initially. He said 14, but now he is saying 15 since this is what Larry he said. Now he's changing it to 15 since he had proof that he didn't know him at 14. He said, and the address he said on the police report was not Larry Reid's house, and that's where he said it took place. It's hard to tell the truth one that is believable because it's hard to say who's believable because he said he had a police report. Okay, so I'm like, oh, well, it's making it more believable that he has a police report. But everybody who have a police report doesn't mean they went and told the truth. But to me, it makes your story. People are more likely to believe it when there is a police report, because that's the first thing they say, especially when the Me Too movement was going on. Well, why you didn't report it? Well, why you didn't report it? So that like that he do have a police report. I'm like, okay. Okay, so he says that he comes in. So he says that he feel like Larry was grooming him. He says that he says he's come in and Larry is bucket naked. That's what he said at first. He didn't say bucket naked, but he said naked. And then in the next sentence, he said that Larry had a tank top on and had the cover wrapped around the bottom. Then he said that Larry Reid was sitting Indian style. Then next he said they were sitting on the floor with the back against the futon. Then next time, talking about the acts, he said that they will be watching explicit videos on the bed. So I'm like, oh, that's a little variations as far as from he being bucket naked to a tank top and a thing. Then when he said he's sitting Indian style, I said, I guess you could be sitting Indian style on the floor with your back against the futon. So the way he was saying it sounded like two different stories, but it could be possible he's saying the one story. Then he said they would be watching explicit videos on the bed. So I'm like, where did this bed come in at? Unless he referring to the futon as a bed, or is it happening in different rooms? Or I'm a little confused on what's going on with that. And he said that's when he said he was watching his explicit videos on bed, and that's when Larry Reid gave him oral and he released in his mouth. Then he said Larry Reid had him turn around. Larry Reid would call him in there, tell him, take off your clothes. And he had him just turning around in circles. I don't know if it's show yourself or he had him turn around in a circle. And that's when he noticed the cover going up and down. So I guess Larry Reid was pleasuring himself. And he was pleasuring himself while watching him. I was like, I guess, but he said him and Larry will watch the explicit video together and please themselves while sitting next to each other. So why now is Larry Reid covering himself and you just see the cover go up and down when y'all done already been right next to each other in the full but nakedness of it all, and he was pleasuring himself while you was pleasuring himself. I don't understand how that happens. But then, like I said, the video that Tasha showed, she said, like I said, it was chopped together. But she said the full video is on her channel, and I think she put like out 30 minutes or something like that. But she said the video is like 2 hours, 3 hours long. So when it's been chopped together, it's hard to see what you missed, what you didn't miss. Is he talking about something different? If not, and the video. That's another thing that reminds me of the Surviving Neverland, is because the graphic guy that I was telling you about, he was it was always about how Michael MJ wanted to please him. And so while he was telling his account of what happened, he was saying that he would come over to Larry's house. But then he said he was living there. So that made no sense. He was living. Then it was like he said he was living in another house. Larry Reid said he was living with his brother because his brother and his wife would allow members who had fell on hard times to live with them. So in that house, he said the reason why the guy just said it was another house he was living at with this other woman. He said woman. I don't know, was it a woman or a girl, since he was 15. But he said at this other house that he was living at, this him and the girl had ended into relations. Him and his woman had ended into relations, and they both went to the same church. So he was like, the relations was supposed to be secret because the way that church was set up, if anybody in the church was to try to enter into relations, you had to get like approval. And Tasha was like, it sounds like it's a cult. And he was like, well, yeah, now that I think about it, it was kind of like a cult. So he didn't say that that was Larry Reid's brother. Larry Reid said that it was his brother. He just said he was living in another house and that the girl he was having a relationship was living in that house. And when it was found out that they was having relations, that's how he had to stop living in that house with the girl. Tasha asked him, where was your mom? She said, oh, my mom had sent me to that house because the mom and dad had divorced and he wanted him to have good positive male influence. I said, I ain't never heard that. You gonna have positive male influence and not live with your mama? Yeah, spend some time over there. But you living at 14, you're living with a whole other family that's not even related to your mom. Y'all not even related to these people. This was people in a new church home that she found. And you finna send your son over there to live and you ain't living. Something that don't seem right. That's what Tasha K said. She interviewed this mama. And I think maybe that's part of the 3 hours. Not for sure. But I'm like, I would really love for the mama to explain that part because that makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm finna send my 14-year-old boy or girl to go live in another house that I'm not living in and they ain't my family. Where was you at? Baby. Okay. So Tasha K, that's what I said earlier. She make allegations of having receipts, but her receipts is just be people talking and not receipts. One thing that ConsiouzTv did bring up is that when him and Storm Monroe had that disagreement over on his channel, and they was trying to work it out, and Tasha K was like, so Storm, you telling me if I said I had a recording, a Van said you did this, then what would you say? And the crazy part is Larry Reid recorded a conversation. She said the exact same thing. You have to go watch ConsiouzTv about it. But she said the exact same thing. So Larry Reid, you telling me if I said I got a recording of you apologizing, then what would you say? So Larry Reid said, well, I don't know what to tell you because I don't remember me having, apologizing. I know I never did anything to anybody like that, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I may have apologized to somebody, but it's not for doing nothing like that. So she said she got the recording. It's supposed to be on her channel. So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. If I have the time, I would like to watch these Tasha K's interview. And then they said Larry Reid did, because when Larry Reid did his YouTube, he was just like, hey, it's going to be on my Patreon. And then, and I completely agree with him because Tasha K is making money off these alleged victims of his. So I'll be on my channel making money too. So like I ain't got a problem with either one. That's how you get your money, go for it. But for outside subscribe, I ain't finna pay $12 here and $12 here just for this story now. I'm gonna need, like, ConsiouzTv got 3 hours. I got to go ahead and finish watching that and see if he brought it all together. I'm gonna need somebody to bring this all together because it's a $24. Y'all up cheap. $24 ain't, yeah, I'm finna say ain't cheap, but that'll be a lot. What ends up happening if I can go and watch it, because that's a lot of time. Just the Larry Reid, and they said that's like over 3 hours. And Tasha K, I think she said just this alleged victim is at least 2 hours. And if you got 4 victims, this is a whole I see why y'all YouTubers and everything, because the moment you can make money off this and stop it, this is a whole job. That's 8 hours. I can't go to work and then come home, cook, clean, take care of my husband, kids, and then spend another 8 hours on this. And that don't even include the recording to record and give the commentary and the editing before uploading it and posting it. Baby, that is a lot. And I see why people be needing their little teams, but I ain't got it right now. So y'all just gonna get my little commentary and drop my little knowledge and give my little opinion here and now when I can. I hope y'all like it. Like, comment, and subscribe. I got to go get me something to eat real quick. I'll see y'all later with some more updates.